What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode. This is episode number 26. I am super excited to be having a guest on this show. But before we dive into it, I want to let you guys know that we do have a YouTube portion. And if you guys are on YouTube and watching this, please consider subscribing down below. We have 60% of you guys that are not subscribed viewing our content. So please, if you like our content, be sure to subscribe. Now, we have an awesome guest on the set today. Cameron Taylor, how are you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good, brother. How you feeling with all this crazy stuff going on in the world right now?
I think a majority of the people are kind of taking it a little too far, but global panic, I guess you got to kind of be a little cautious with a lot of things. So
I think just the biggest thing is just how easy this thing can spread. You know, It's just like, it's insane. You just get in a room with somebody and it's like, shit, you got it.
Yeah.
Know?
I think it's kind of wild how people are like, well, as long as you stay 6 feet away from someone, you're going to be fine. I'm like, that doesn't seem like very much distance, but I mean,
it really isn't.
I was listening to a podcast recently and they were talking about COVID-19 and saying that a sneeze or a cough from someone that has it, it aerosolizes those germs and it can stay in the air up to 3 hours.
Yeah.
So you can walk by someone after they sneeze an hour later and there's a chance you could get it. And it's just wild.
Yeah. I mean, I was reading things that it could be like in metal for like, I can't remember. I think it was like 3 days. It could be on cardboard for like a day or something like that.
24 hours on cardboard. It's like, I don't understand this. It's wild.
I know. It's kind of insane, man. But let's talk about a little bit how we met, bro, which is kind of crazy.
It's been a few years.
It's been a minute.
It has been.
It's been so long. But, so we did a show called Footloose, which was an absolute blast.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun. When did you start kind of getting into plays and theaters and shows and all that?
So, the first show I ever did, it was in 2012, and that was the year after I graduated high school. I started doing shows in my senior year of high school. I did one or two, maybe I think just one show. And then I thought it was fun, so I reached out and started doing stuff within the community rather than with school because I was done with high school at that point. And so I started doing stuff at the community theater here in Chubbuck. So right around 2011, 2012.
How many plays have you done?
Oh, man. Let's see. I did 2 in 2012, and then I left on my mission, and then came back. Footloose was the first one I did when I came home, and then since then I've probably done 5 or 6 more.
Man,
maybe 7.
It's crazy being from an outsider going into that.
Because it was your first show,
my first and only show, man. Right. That was a lot of time.
It's a lot of commitment. You have to be extremely committed, and you don't get paid for it either.
No, you don't.
Just show up, be here all day, and then
4 days, 4 or 5 days a week.
Go home at night, come back the next morning, and it's rough. Like those Saturday rehearsals sometimes can be from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. It just kind of depends.
And it's like I always thought like the people on stage, like of course they work, they grind, but man, the people behind the scenes,
they work.
That are like
they
pulling
work 10
ropes,
times harder most of the time.
Holy crap, dude! They're like, you go out, do a little skit, but they're back there pulling this, pulling that, switching this light, going here, going that, making sure they do the clothing change, and it's insane.
Being on stage is one thing, and I've done both. Where I've been on stage and I've worked the backstage, and man, it's a night and day difference.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. I mean, they're both extremely, extremely different, but they both have their different challenges, and I mean, they both have their rewards too. I mean, without the backhand, the backstage hands, you don't have a show.
You really don't.
They're there to make sure you run good and make sure it's looking all right out there, and so without them, there's nothing.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because I did like a little bit of behind and kind of a little bit of on stage or whatever, but it was kind of crazy just like flipping those roles in the 2-hour period. It's like, after this thing, I got to be on stage, be here, do my part, do my dance or whatever, then get off, go help this person change, make sure I pull this set. I think there's probably a couple of times I like left a chair, like fuck, run back out.
Like within a community theater setting, you don't have those people that are paid specifically to just be there to move ropes or move set pieces. You're in the show, you're going to help with the show. You're not just going to be on stage, you're going to help move things around, you're going to help make the show look good. I think that's an interesting thing about the community theater here is that it has that aspect where, you go to be on stage and perform, but then they're also like, well, since you're here, we need you to help back here as well. And well, I'm already here. I might as well.
Yeah, literally. You don't want to just sit backstage for like a 20, 30-minute break.
Yeah, exactly. got nothing better to do. I'm already here. Got to be here till the end of the show. Might as well help out with it. So
yep, you gotta grind. You gotta grind. That's so true, man. But being in these plays too, because you did a couple after Footloose. Which ones did you do?
So right after Footloose ended, I did the Addams Family musical,
Right.
which I've done twice now. Did it in 2016, and then we just recently did it this last fall. And then I've done Mary Poppins, Music Man. Man, there's a couple of others. I don't remember them all.
Just doing them all.
Annie, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and
You're not in
Sister Act.
Sister Act, yeah.
That one was fun.
I heard that one was really popular.
It was really fun.
The most recent one they're doing right now, isn't it? I can't remember. Do you know what they're doing right now?
So they're in rehearsal phase for Beauty and the Beast.
That's right, yeah.
And they just finished up a show. What one was it?
Wasn't it Dolly Parton or something?
Oh, yeah, 9 to 5.
Yeah,
9 to 5, Dolly Parton's musical. They just finished that one up. It was actually a pretty good show. I went and saw it with my wife. And then they're in rehearsal phase for Beauty and the Beast.
Are you doing that?
I'm not.
I got you.
No, with all this
oh yeah
COVID stuff,
they're still going on through all this.
So the way they're doing it is like they have like webcams and they rehearse over like Zoom chat and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah,
interesting.
It's wild. The new owner of the theater, you know
Yep.
Jenna.
Yeah.
She's doing a heck of a job over there.
That's what I was just gonna say, because after
Yeah.
wasn't Addams Family the first one? Oh no, that was when the second new owners.
The Bidwells, yeah.
Right, and then they
she kind of technically took over during that show. Well, right after it ended, and so she and her husband were in charge of it during the Christmas time.
Gotcha.
But the 9 to 5 show was their first show as the owners,
Right.
and the show that they had picked out for their theater.
Right. I reached out to Jenna a while ago. I must just got lost in her DMs or something, but I wanted her to come on the show and kind of talk about running a theater, because I'm sure it's
she's
it's
busy.
crazy.
She's busy she works at ICCU. She's getting ready to have a baby soon.
Right. Because
she's got the theater.
Isn't the theater still like non-profit?
Yeah, it's non-profit.
Yes.
It's community theater. It's awesome. I think it's a great thing for our community.
It really is, but man, like that's why I wanted her on, is just to condemn her for like how great she's doing, like how much work it is to keep something like that going,
Right.
as well as try to maintain and keep your own life
have a
afloat.
career, have a family life, and own the theater. And I mean, she's got a lot of help though. There's a lot of people that have been friends with her for years that are helping her with it and keeping it going. And I think that's awesome. Our community needs it. It's great.
Yeah, I agree. Not only like, because we did Footloose together, not only is she just crazy talented, I'm thinking about her just running the place is just going to be a double awesome factor, because you can run it as a business as well. She has the talent. She can really help the entire thing grow.
And that's one thing, like she's not trying to stick her neck out there and direct every single show they do. She's reaching out to other people and having other people come in and direct, which I think is awesome, because there's so many people in town and around the area that are so talented with the directing that it's good to have different directors in there to help with the productions. Has
Mitch been involved in any of this?
I haven't seen Mitch there in a while. I don't know.
As
far as I know,
Footloose, right?
No, we did Music Man together.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
That was a couple shows after Footloose. But yeah, I did that with him.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so he directed our Footloose thing, and I thought our show turned out.
Yeah, it was really good.
And of course, I'm biased, but I'm like, my first show, like, it is insane how you have that first day, and you're like, I walked in not knowing anybody, not knowing theater. Like, I'm a dancer. I was just like, who is all these people? Like, you know, but I felt welcomed, and people, it was just very...
That's just kind of how it works. You go in, like, the very first show I did there, I went in, auditioned, didn't know anything about the show, didn't know anybody that was there, and got in, and I was like, oh, this is going to be fun, I guess. And
right.
You get to meet these people, and you're like, wow, this is a good community. I like these people.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's
They're there to uplift, and they're there to help you. They're not there to be like, I'm better than you.
I'm better than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little crazy. They definitely call it drama for a reason.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There's a lot of that goes on. Not just the good stuff. There's always bad too.
I feel like I do that all the time, even with like things like right now, like especially when you're a producer and you're making videos or something. Like you ask your friends, you know, that they're there for their free time. So I feel like it complicates things with drama and who gets what and does what. When otherwise, if it was like a paid theater, I feel like everyone would be like. It'd probably still be drama like in any workplace, but I feel like it'd be a lot less. Like you're getting paid to be there, so you're like, oh. But when you're there and like say like you don't get a certain scene or something, you're like, bro, I put way more work in, and then that's when it just
for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, with anything, there's the politics in it, and I mean, people that have been doing stuff there longer.
Yeah,
Obviously, I have a better shot at doing stuff with them.
Yeah.
But I mean, Jen is really good about. I've seen a lot of people on the stage in the last few shows that I haven't ever seen there, and so it's kind of cool to see new faces and all that. It's really nice. I mean, yeah, they're still the people that have done many shows there, but it's because they're talented.
Exactly.
They know what they're doing. But it's also really cool to see all these new faces on the stage that I've never seen that I would like to do a show with eventually. But right now, I'm a little too busy to be doing shows, we'll see.
I agree. Well, that's awesome, man. It's really cool to see our theater kind of prevail through all of this and keep going. I really respect Jen. So, but moving away, before you went to your mission, or before you went to Footloose, and we did that play together, you went on a mission, which is awesome, crazy.
Yeah,
so you went to Texas and Louisiana, correct?
Yeah. So the area I was in was called the Texas Houston East Mission, and it covered the east side of Houston, southeast Texas, southwest Louisiana. So Houston East all the way over to Crowley, Louisiana, which it's a span of like 4 hours of a drive. If you were to drive from one end to the other, 4 hours total.
That's
probably
insane.
It's wild, but it's a great area. It was crazy because the area I was in had such a contrast. I mean, you could be in downtown Houston, and then 4 hours away, you're in the sticks in Louisiana, where
really
you can hear banjo music coming down the creek. So I mean, it's just kind of depends. And I mean, I got the full spectrum. I served in Houston, where I was in Houston for a little while. Then I was also in the swamps of Louisiana. So I mean, it was pretty cool.
That is really cool.
It was sweet.
That sounds really cool. But being out on a mission, man, like that's 2 years, bro. That's crazy. Like I don't think we were even gonna ask somebody this, but how is it like the moment you get to come home? You know, of course I know you're out there serving and you're doing good things, but
you know, it's kind of weird. You'd think after being gone 2 years, you're like, oh, I'm so excited to get home. For me, I was like, I don't want to go home.
Really?
I want to stay here. I loved it there. It was awesome. I mean, the food was great. The people were awesome. It was just a great place. I mean, it was hot. It was humid, but I don't know. There's just something about it. I loved it so much, and it was hard for me to come home. I really wanted to stay, but I knew I couldn't. I was like, I got to go home.
You got to go home, yeah.
Which, I mean, it's whatever.
But. Yeah, because when Landon got home, it was like one of the most powerful things to sit there and witness family reuniting. It's like, oof.
Yeah, when one of my friends came home, I went to the airport and saw him get off the plane. And I was like, man, this is emotional. Is this how it was when I got home?
I know.
I was like, whoa, I didn't know it was this bad.
The tears, like I emailed Landon, I texted him, but like when he came walking over to me, I'm like, masculinity.
Yeah, like I didn't cry when I came home. Like when I got off the plane, I didn't cry or anything. But a friend of mine, when he came home, I cried when he got home. Yeah. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, I know. It's weird being on the other side waiting.
Yeah, it's wild.
That is wild. That's really cool, man. So, well, thank you for even serving your mission. That's just awesome, man. You know, getting out there and finding people for God and all those things, you know.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a great time. Like you said, 2 years. It was really rewarding. There was also a lot of times on my mission that it was kind of hard.
Right.
I mean, there's
what are some of those like hard difficulties of going on your mission?
So, I think in general, for most people, I think a lot of it comes down to, for a lot of us, it's the first time we've been away from home. I mean, unless you go to a college, it's further away from where you live. But
right.
For a lot of missionaries, it's the first time they've been away from home for an extended amount of time. And then for me personally, while I was on my mission, my dad passed away. And so...
I'm sorry.
Yeah. He was battling cancer for a while. And that was one thing that happened to me. And I mean, it's happened to a lot of missionaries, but that was one thing for me especially that was more of a struggle than anything else.
Right. So you stayed on your mission even after that happened, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I decided to finish up. I had been out a little over around a year, so I had a year left, but I was just like, I'm just going to stay out here.
Yeah, like what like makes you like just make that decision that like, you know, instead of going home and I guess in a sense coping with the family and things like that to stay out, like what was just like, you know, I'm going to stay here?
So I think part of it, and I've always said this, it wasn't a hard decision for me, but it was a heavy decision. And I think that it was like that because, I mean, yeah, I wanted to finish my mission, and I also wanted to be there for my family. And I talked to my mission president, who was the guy that's in charge of the missionaries in that area, and I asked him, like, if there is a possibility, could I go home and then come back? And he said, well, I'm sure there is, but I'd have to figure that out for sure. I don't want to give you a yes or no answer just yet. And so I thought about it a lot, and then I realized it'd be pretty selfish of me to come home, be here for a couple weeks, and then leave. Right. And leave my family without me again when they need me the most. And so I thought it'd just be it'd be less selfish for me to just stay out here. Right. And I mean, it's a decision that I felt really good about, and one that my dad himself even kind of wanted me to do, because I got a few emails from him before he passed away, and in a couple of them he said, "Don't come home. There's no reason for you to come home. If I die, what's the point? I'm not here. There's nothing you can do. You might as well just stay out there and do what you're doing." Right. Which is true. I mean, I was out there for a good reason. I was doing some good stuff, and so I figured, why go home? Right.
It makes a lot of sense, man. The first time I ever witnessed something like that was, I don't know if you remember, you're from Pocatello, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know the Parrish family a while ago with the carbon monoxide poisoning.
I'm good friends with their family, yeah.
Really? Interesting. But I just remember seeing, a couple people, or one of them was on their mission.
Yeah, there's two of them.
Yeah.
The two oldest were on their missions.
And I believe that they came back for a minute, but they went right back out.
So, yeah, they both came back, and then Ian went back and finished, and Jensen stayed home.
Right.
And I'm really good friends with Caden Curtis, who is their Bill and Ross's nephew. He's a little younger than me, and he was on his mission when it happened too, and he stayed out. Which, I mean, it was his aunt and uncle and cousins that passed away, but he had a hard time with it too. I mean, the whole family did. They're a really close family. The whole family's all really close together. They're really tight knit group of people, and they're awesome.
It's just crazy. Like I can't imagine. Like I know personally, I've had one extreme loss, like a really close person who passed, and having those emotions, those feelings, those thoughts, those moments, just thinking of, putting myself apart for someone else to go, to go finish what I'm here for. Like that's a very ultimate powerful thing to me to witness.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy because I heard about it because I knew him a little bit. I didn't know the whole family that well, but I knew Ian. And I knew Jensen, and I knew one of their other sons, Keegan. Right. And I, when my mom told me about it on my mission, when she said, "Oh, the Parrish has passed away," I was like, "You're kidding me, right?" Because she's like, "Yeah, like the whole family, like the two parents and the two kids that were still home." I was like, "You got to be kidding! That's nuts."
I remember, don't quote me on this, but I remember a family member telling me that they work at Costco, and I believe the following day, Pocatello and Chubbuck ran out almost everywhere of carbon monoxide poisoning detectors because of that.
Yeah, I don't know
that incident.
I know. Bill's sister, Carrie Curtis. I don't know if you know her. She's done a lot of stuff at the theater. She now has a program where she gives away carbon monoxide detectors for free to anyone that needs one because of her family. That's insane. And they have the basketball tournament here in town in honor of Bill, and there's the trail up by Highland High School that's dedicated to them, and they were a local celebrities, basically.
Because they owned a business too, I believe, right? I believe it's something called the Parrish.
There used to be a Parrish store here in town, but
wasn't it owned by them or no?
I don't know if it was them or if it was like his parents.
Gotcha.
And it used to be like right by where the Wendy's in Chubbuck is, and so, but it's not there anymore. It's where the ICCU branch is.
Exactly. Yeah, I just remember that. Another part too is like when all this happened, because my family, they bought carbon monoxide, like I just remember, my mom being like, they're sold out, and like, I was like, oh my gosh, just because how tragic that can happen overnight. So, but I remember too, a couple months later, I was dancing for Dance Factory. Of course, I was still dancing back in the day, and we had a piece, not me, but someone else put together the Littles. Do you know them? It's like a family of Littles. They have like 5-6 sisters, and they're all dance, and they're all amazing. But they all the sisters, like oldest, youngest, put a dance together for the Parrish family. And it was like just powerful, just to see like a community come together and kind of just like in an artistic way give back. Right. Or not give back, but kind of just honor, the family.
Well, I mean, I don't know. These church buildings right over here, right? Where there's two of them right next to each other in the same parking lot. That's where they had the funeral for all four of them the same day.
Oh, wow.
And they held it in one building, and because there were so many people, they broadcast it to the other building, and like both buildings were full, and they had people at the doors. That just tells you how big of a presence certain people in our community are.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a great loss. Like I said, I didn't know them that well. I knew their kids pretty well. I still talk to their kids quite often. I mean, I'm pretty good friends with most of them. Parrish Curtis family, and so it was hard for me to hear about it on my mission, especially because my buddy Caden was on his mission, and it just broke my heart for him because I was, man, I can't imagine.
Like, yeah.
And then my dad passed away, and I was like, well, I guess I can imagine.
I guess I can.
I mean,
I'm so sorry, man.
And I talked to Carrie about it too. Right after I got home from my mission, I went and saw them and visited with them, and I was talking to her about it. I was like, I can't imagine what you're going through because you lost 4 at once. I only lost 1. And she's like, you know what? It's probably no different because it was all 4 at once. If it would have been 4 staggered, it would have been a lot harder. But where it all happened at once, I bet it's no different. And I was like, you know what?
Because that recovery process, man.
Yeah.
It takes time.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still... When I lost... It was my grandmother that passed away.
Right, I remember hearing about that.
Yeah. What happened, though, is like... I was just at work at Dick's Sporting Goods, and my grandpa calls me, and I'm always like messing around with him, like, "What you want, Grants? I'm working." And but you know, it was weird because I had this thought before I pulled out my phone that like he knows I'm at work. Why would he call me? That's why, you know. But I didn't think it was anything bad. Of course, he's telling me my grandma had a heart attack. She's in the hospital, and it was like an 8-hour thing until she finally passed. But every time I get a call from someone at a random time, it bugs the hell.
It makes you wonder,
It makes me not want to answer my phone.
Right.
Like, you know, I'm pretty good at like answering my phone at all times, even school, work, whatever. I'll step out, answer it. But when it's at an awkward time, you know, like my mom at 2 a.m, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. There's no reason you're calling.
Yeah, like, and it's always like, hey son, like I'm doing my taxes. I'm like, Mom, what the fuck? Like you can't call me like this. It's not important. You know, like, and it drives me crazy. It just that feeling though, that pain. I just don't even know if it'll ever go. It's been, God, years now, and I still have it.
And see, for me, while I was on my mission president called me earlier in the day, and he just told me, I just want you to know. Your dad's not doing well. He's in the hospital. He's not responsive, and it's not looking good. So I said, wow. Okay. And so my companion and I, we went out for the day and worked, and then kind of just had a feeling all day. I was like, it's not going to end well. I mean, obviously, there's one way out of this. Yeah. Like, I was like, if he isn't responsive and things aren't going well, obviously there's only one way out, and it's inevitable that it's going to happen eventually. Mm-hmm. And so my companion and I, we went out for the day and just kind of was waiting for the call all day. Never came. And then that night we were back at our apartment and got a call. It was probably like 9:45. And it was my mission president just saying, I'm sorry, I got to tell you this, but your father passed away. And I was like, well, thanks for letting me know. And I mean, I was at peace. I mean, right. I knew it was going to happen. I mean, yeah, it's still hard. Yeah. And I didn't really have a breakdown until the next day. And then the next day is when I kind of lost it. And I was like, why am I here? What am I doing?
Yeah.
And then
I'm sorry, man.
Kind of came back to me, and I was like, you know, I'm doing the right thing. I need to stay here. And so, yeah, it was hard to get through, but I'm glad I was there when it happened, rather than here, because things would be a lot different in my life now if I had come home. So
exactly.
So I'm glad I stayed.
Well, I admire you for doing it, man. Truly. But you know, flipping the subject around is, you know, you're a father now.
Yeah.
You're a dad.
Yeah, it's wild.
How is that life, man? How is it being a father?
It's rewarding. It's frustrating. It's how do I say? It's an awesome experience. It really is. He's an awesome little guy.
How old is he now?
He will be 9 months, just a couple weeks. Well, a few days actually. He'll be 9 months old. Yeah.
That's wild.
He's a cute little guy. He's super fun. Frustrating as heck sometimes.
Right.
He's getting to the point now where he just never stops making noise. He's trying to talk, and he's trying to crawl, but he doesn't have it down yet. Where he's really good at going backwards, but he hasn't really gone forward a whole lot yet. So he just kind of scoots himself backwards. It's pretty funny.
That's pretty funny. I bet having those little things around are just hilarious. Like,
it's awesome. I mean, like I said, as you can imagine, it's frustrating, especially when it's, 2, 3 in the morning, you're trying to sleep, get some rest for work the next day, and he just wakes up crying, which he doesn't do a whole lot now. Now that he's older, he sleeps through the night most of the time, but when he was first born and when we first had him at home, man, every couple hours he'd wake up screaming, and we're like, come on. Man.
Do you like sleep? Like that's I've always wondered, like, do you guys like have a part, like a system or something? It's like a flip a coin, who gets out of bed, like.
Not really.
It's just kind of like.
It's kind of like I lay there for a few minutes and I'm like, well, is he gonna go back to sleep? And then when he doesn't, I'm like, hey, go take care of him. And I mean, most of the time, because the way we have our bed set up, it's just so much harder for me to get off my side of the bed in the middle of the night, can't see anything. I have so much stuff stacked up on my side of the bed that I get up and I trip over everything. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And
so you're like,
most of the time she'll get up and go do it unless she's not feeling good, and then I'll go up and do it. So every once in a while we alternate, but most of the time she gets up and goes before I can even say anything. So she usually gets it done. So
that's cool. That's cool. We don't have a kid yet, but like chores and stuff. It's a lot of I owe you. Like, okay, if I do the litter box,
I'll do it this time.
You do food. Like, like
we that's kind of how we're sitting right now with like bedtime, getting him to bed.
Oh heck yeah.
She gets mad at me a lot because I find ways out of it. I'm like, I'm not doing it tonight. You do it tonight. And then, but right now we're on a pretty good schedule where we do every other day.
That's awesome.
Well, I did it tonight. I'll do it tonight. You do it tomorrow night, and then I'll switch off. And
yeah.
Which for now it's kind of working, but we'll see.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of your wife too, like when did you guys get married?
We got married in December of 2017.
2017, bro.
Yeah, so it's been almost 3 years.
That's
2.5 years ish.
That's really cool. How'd you guys meet?
So she was actually serving a mission here in town.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, she's from Arizona, and she served her mission here in Idaho. And then her last 6 weeks-ish, she was in the area that my mom lived in. And I was going over to my mom's house to help missionaries teach my sister and brother-in-law, who my sister, well, they were both technically members of the church. Mm-hmm. And they were trying to come back to church, and so I was over there helping missionaries teach. And then one of them got transferred out of the area, and she came in, and then we just became pretty good friends, and then kept talking. She went home, and then when she got home, we kept talking, and then I went and visited her and her family, and then she got a plane ticket, moved up here, and then we got married a few months later.
That's so crazy, dude.
Yeah, it was wild.
I've been, like, paying attention a little bit about how people have been getting married, like, through their missions now, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, like, how people... I have a friend that baptized someone on his mission, and then they got married.
Wow.
Which is kind of crazy.
That's crazy,
like, you know, like, you get someone... You convert somebody, but you also are marrying them, you know, down the line. I think it was a couple years later when they actually got married. But.
I know a few people that... Not that exact situation, but they married someone they met on their mission, like another missionary or something. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a couple of people that I served my mission with that ended up marrying a sister missionary that was from the same area.
So when you're on your mission, though, like, how is there times you hang out with other female missionaries? Because I know you guys kind of, like, do your own things.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's certain, like, every once in a while you'll have, like, a zone meeting where
all the missionaries will...
From a certain area will get together, and, like, you'll see them occasionally. And then there's, like, certain, like, every Friday there's, like, a district meeting where a smaller group of missionaries meets together each week to talk about the work they're doing in an area. And every once in a while there'll be...
So that's time they can kind of mingle.
Yeah, they can talk, and, I mean, they're not supposed to be talking about, like, oh, let's date, that kind of stuff.
Right,
but
obviously.
When they go home, that's off the table. I mean, they can talk about that kind of stuff once they're home.
So they can mingle and get to know each other.
Yeah,
you know?
And, I mean, there's nothing wrong with making friends.
Oh, cool.
But, yeah. So a lot of times that's how it happens. They get to know each other, and then when they get home, they're like, "Well, let's hang out. Let's go on a date or something."
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, because I also heard because with this COVID-19 thing going on, the temples are shut down. Correct?
Yeah, for a while they had them open, but just limited. And as far as I know now, they're completely closed down.
That's crazy.
Which is kind of unprecedented.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's wild.
It's like one of those things. Like, I mean, when you hear churches closed down, you're like, okay. Times are scary.
Yeah, we haven't had church for like 3 or 4 weeks now.
That's crazy to me, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's kind of scary almost. I mean,
you know,
it's not really. It's like the first time this has ever happened, really. I mean,
just be able to get with your people, get with you know, to mingle, to get out, and, you know, just share talk about something that y'all are passionate about. But it's like it's crazy just to see it kind of shut down. But I wonder how the married processes are going on, because people can't get married in the temple right now, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
So
I mean, I know a girl that I think her and her husband got married like a couple days before they made the decision. And then I know people that were planning on it, and then they've since like postponed, like, okay, well, we'll get married when they reopen, stuff like that. But yeah.
That's what I was wondering, because like, especially if someone's about to get married, and, you know, they're about to, like, they plan their lives, you know, like, you're like, okay, like, we're getting married in 2 months, but after that, we're going to move in, have our lease end, all blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But it's like, could they live together or do things if they at least get legally married?
Yeah, you can still get married. You can still...
And everything's good to go.
So you can get married by, like, a bishop in the church. Well, actually, I don't know though, because the churches are closed.
Yeah.
It's a good question. Maybe if you had like an outside wedding, I don't know.
Right.
I think most people are kind of avoiding the whole wedding situation right now anyway, with like the large gathering ban or whatever. So I don't know, but yeah, if they were to get married legally somehow, they can once the temples reopen, they can go in and get the temple marriage.
Right, yeah, because the marriage right now means they can live together, they can be sexual, things like that. Yeah. But the temple wedding, of course, is for eternity.
Yeah, that's time and eternity, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense, but it's just crazy.
So if they were to get married, what we call civilly, by civil law, by a judge or a bishop or a clergyman, something.
I'm pretty sure
it's legal.
I wonder if that's even open, man.
I don't know.
At
that's
point,
a good question. I mean, I know the courthouse is open, but I don't know if they're like, if you went to the courthouse, be like, hey, can we get married? They'd be like, no, not right now. What are you doing? No, wait till this is over.
Yeah, for real. So with this virus, how's your family holding up? Is it affecting you guys at all?
A little bit. I mean, my wife, she works for ICCU, so she's able to work from home because she's kind of a behind the scenes employee.
Good.
And so they sent her home with a computer and everything, so she can do work from home. My grandma babysits our baby for us at home, and so she's at our house every day with my wife is there now every day as well.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, it's making our life look a little different, but we're still able to do what we got to do, and we still got the money coming in, and we're able to pay our bills and everything, so that works.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, is just seeing a lot of people lose their jobs and things like that. At least this whole kind of, because I'm the same way. Like, I shoot video for marketing on campus, and I was like, can't shoot video from home, like they're gonna fire me.
There's no way.
Like, we're just gonna have you edit a ton of stuff, go home and work. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, at least you got that.
It's terrifying though, just like witnessing all these things going on. I'm just happy they finally passed the stimulus bill so families can.
Yeah, and it's just a matter. I think they said like in a matter of like three or so weeks, they're gonna start rolling checks out.
I think it's just kind of hard to send 300 Americans checks, so it's gonna take a little bit of prep time.
Yeah, and I don't even know how they're gonna roll it out. Are they gonna go like by state, alphabetical order?
I don't know.
It's crazy. I mean, I'm super grateful for it. It's gonna be great, but I always wonder about the logistics of it all and how it's gonna work. So
it's interesting. It's like I guess like I've been talking to all my older family, and I'm trying to get information because I guess they sent checks to a bunch of Americans in like 2000. I can't remember, 2001 or 9, or I think it was during.
Yeah, it was like 2008, 2009, something like that.
And I was like talking to people, they're like, "Oh, I don't remember." And I'm like, "How do you not remember?" I feel like I would remember getting a check from the government.
I don't think every family got one that time, but there were
a lot.
I don't think my family did. Now that I think about it, I don't know if we did.
Right.
But I think
it was one of those things, right?
It was like if you fell within a certain tax bracket. I don't remember. I was too young to even care.
That's exactly the same.
Don't
so
care.
Yeah, but it's still interesting.
Me.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how it kind of rolls out, because it's like it's a lot of money. It
really is, but I mean, they think it's gonna help. So
yeah,
I mean, it'll help stimulate the economy for sure, but
it will definitely help the people that don't have jobs and things like that. Well, I mean, in a way, like, because in my mind, I'm like, our bills together is like $2,000 a month,
right? Yeah,
and I'm thinking, man, that's like $1,200 a month. Like, that's only it. Like, as of right now, that's it. And I'm like,
one check.
I don't know if that's gonna help. I don't know. It just kind of depends what your situation is, because I know there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Like, if you have to pay mortgage, some people are not letting you pay mortgage. Like, you're good.
A lot of companies have put, like, they're not going to charge late fees, and they're not going to shut off or disconnect stuff. And so I think that's really admirable how they're a lot. I got an email from, I think, the gas company saying, due to this, we're not going to stop service if you can't make your bill. Or
right. Oh, good.
And they said if you need special circumstances or you need an extension, just let us know. And I think that's awesome, because I mean, there's a lot of people that, like my mom, for instance, she doesn't have a job right now because she worked for the Works sandwich shop. Yeah, and you can't work. And they closed, and but he's gonna keep them all on. As soon as this is over, they're gonna go back and work for him. Right. But at the same time, it's like, well, she doesn't have an income right now. Yeah, and so that's the tough part. It's hard. I mean, there's people out there that are not working. There's people out there that can't work. There's people out there that are sick and can't do anything. And so it's just kind of rough. I mean, it's a rough time for not only America, but the world in general. Yeah, literally though. Like, I don't even know. Like, I own a business, and like I still work paycheck to paycheck. Right, yeah. Let alone with this being affected, I get a lot of gigs getting canceled, a lot of refunds happening. Yeah. Like, I thought my bank would be all like, hey, no fees, but every time I have to refund, I go negative in my account, obviously. Like, I don't have the money to refund right now. And so I'm making all these refunds, making sure people, because I know people need this money. I'm not the one to be like, oh,
fuck you. Like, you
already paid.
You already paid. The contract says no refunds, period. Like, no, like, I understand it's a bad situation to be in. Like, when the government says you can't have a wedding, like, you can't have a wedding.
You really
like,
can't.
So I'm the one to be like, all right, okay, here. Like, I'll throw their money back or whatever, but it's making me go negative, but my bank's still charging me fees. And I'm like, bro, like, come on. Like, help us out here.
That's another thing, like, with the governor of Idaho saying, like, we're going to stay at home. Like, stay at home order. Like, if you don't need to be at work, don't be at work. I see all these businesses that are open that why are you still open?
Yeah.
You're one of the businesses that shouldn't be open. Why are you open? Why does it? You're just.
It needs to be essential businesses.
You're not making the problem any better. You're not helping. That defeats the whole purpose of the stay-at-home order.
Yeah, and I see, and there's like businesses are getting really creative too, because it's like, like the fast food thing. Everyone's trying to do mobile apps, online ordering, things like that. There's other businesses that are just trying to. The other issue is like those same businesses that invested their life savings that may not be essential, but it's like if they close down, like they're done.
Yeah, like
so they're trying to
locally owned stuff.
And it's just like, it's like, yeah, you shouldn't be open, but at the same time, like if you don't,
it's your livelihood.
You get it. Oh, here's your $1,200 check. Good luck.
Yeah. Live on this until this is over.
It's a nightmare.
Spend it wisely. Don't spend it all in one place.
Like me and my fiance, we already talked. Like both of our hours got cut tremendously, but at the same time, like we still have jobs, we still have income to keep afloat a little bit. So some of the money we get, we're definitely gonna like give to Feeding America or something, because it's like there's a lot of people out here, and I encourage anybody that can, because like we need to help our fellow human. Because like although I'll be okay, there's a lot of people that I'm already like, even friends that are just like newly married, and they're like, bro, like we both don't have jobs, we have this mortgage payment.
Exactly.
And I'm like, bro, it's tough.
And then there's all those people that are panic buying everything, and so
I know.
Now you go to the store, you're like, I just need a gallon of milk, and there's nothing there. And why are people buying it? It's still going to be here. Dude. It's not like they're going to run out. The only time you need to start panic buying is when they say that trucks can't travel anymore.
Yeah, that's when things in it.
And it hasn't come to that, and I don't think
there's like a martial law order for you to stay home, then yes, like you need to stock up.
That's when you need to stock up.
But it's like, they're like, yeah, stay home when you can, but they're like, go ahead, go out, go shopping.
Yeah,
like,
how many rolls of toilet paper do you think you're going to go through in a month? I mean,
dude, that blows my mind too.
Buy the same amount that you always buy.
Dude, one pack at Costco will last us literally months.
For real,
like,
My wife and I will buy the big pack at Costco, and we don't have to buy it again for like 2-3 months.
Yep, literally.
And we're good to go.
I don't understand. I just don't understand.
And I'm like, come on. And so I'm not a panic buyer, but I was at Costco and I was like, well, it's here. I might as well buy some, because if I don't now, it's not going to be here eventually. So I'm going to get it now.
That's exactly.
And so I have some put away, and I told my family, well, if you need any, let me know.
Yeah,
I'll give you some. But I mean, I'm the one going out for it. So
I know
I'm gonna make you pay for it. Like if you want some, you can buy it from me.
Yeah. It's crazy too, because you're out there, and it's just like seeing these people with carts full, and you're just like, hey, can I get one? Just, I just need.
Do you need that many?
Just like 2 rolls, please.
Well, and now most stores have set a limit. Like I was at Winco today, and they like certain things like you can have one of these, 2 of these, and it makes me so mad that they have to even do that, because people are so stupid. Yeah. Like if you were smart, you wouldn't be buying all this stuff. Like, and now a lot of stores have started saying, we're not going to give refunds on overbought stuff, which I think is awesome, because then all these people are going to be stuck with all this hand soap and all these all this toilet paper and cleaning supplies. And I'm like, after this is over, they're going to be like, I don't need all this. Well, too bad.
Well, you have 5 years worth.
Now you've got it. And so what are you going to do?
Like, it pisses me off too, but at the same time, I'm just happy it's toilet paper, something stupid like toilet paper, rather compared to like food and things. If people start panic buying that, then shit's going to get really tough.
Which is, I don't understand why toilet paper was the first thing.
I don't know. But whatever, people keep buying. Like, you buy your toilet paper, as long as I can get my box of Lucky Charms, I'm good.
Yeah. Like the first few things that started going, I'm like, why is this what people are buying? I mean, there's much more important things.
I wish I could find some of this panic buying, but like sit them down and be like, all right, why?
I wish I could find the first person that was like, oh, I need toilet paper.
Yeah, I know.
And like grabbed 7 packages. I could be like, so why'd you do that? And then be like, because of you, Susie over here started buying it, and then so did Ronald. Yeah. And now there's no toilet paper left because each of you took 7 packages.
And she's like, ha, your belly's full, but my butt's clean.
Yeah. Like, good luck.
It's crazy, man. But, your job, though, we were talking a little bit, too, about you work at FedEx, correct?
Yeah, I'm a courier for FedEx.
So, like, what does that mean? Like, what do you do?
So, I deliver packages.
Really?
The freight comes in the morning, we sort it out, and then I go out and deliver.
That's
Me and a bunch of other people.
Just going out and like putting out FedEx. So like, how has this thing affected you guys? I mean, is it
Um,
busier? Is it slower?
At first, it kind of was the same, and then it picked up a little bit because a lot of people were at home quarantine, like just staying home. So everyone was shopping online, and so we got a ton of stuff, and then it kind of slowed down again. And now that a lot of businesses in town are closed, we're getting a lot of stuff that we get in our station. We're like, well, they're closed. We can't take it to them.
Right.
So now our station's kind of getting, not too bad. It's not too overloaded because there's a lot of businesses here that just don't seem to care and they stay open.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's changed things a little bit. I mean, it went from a normal day being, pretty heavy to now where some days it's super heavy because everyone's at home just ordering online because they have nothing better to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they're ordering stuff like, I need a new pair of Nikes right about now.
I know.
Or like, oh, there's a T-shirt on sale. I'm gonna get that.
I know. Do you see any? Do you get to see any of that kind of analytics of like if people are buying more food or thing like something?
I don't know the numbers behind it, but I mean,
does it feel like there's more? Like, do you even get to see like what products are like? Because you guys are packaging them, right? Or
no, we don't package them. We get them. We get them. So our freight comes on a plane from Salt Lake,
right?
And then we unload the plane, and then we take it to our station and we sort it out to the different routes.
Okay,
and
so you know like what's in it.
No,
thing.
But I mean, you see like Nike boxes, Walmart
right,
boxes.
Right.
Oh, FedEx doesn't.
Yeah, if it's Nike, it's not.
Yeah,
it's anything essential.
And I mean, FedEx doesn't do Amazon anymore. We did for a while, but then there was a contract that expired.
Really?
And we didn't re-sign, and so
interesting.
FedEx doesn't carry anything for Amazon right now.
That's crazy.
And so we're not seeing the Amazon end of it, but UPS is, and they seem to be getting pretty busy too. But yeah, we have I think FedEx is starting to strike up a new deal with like Walmart for their e-commerce to
start going.
Be like the sole shipper of all the Walmart products, which we see a lot of Walmart stuff, especially because we cover like the Bear Lake area too. So we see a lot of stuff coming from Walmart to go to them, places that there aren't Walmarts, like Bear Lake, Soda Springs, Montpelier, that area over there where there's no Walmart within an hour or so drive. We're taking a lot of stuff to them because they order from Walmart. We take it to them.
Right. So if they order it, like not the pickup, but delivered to your door type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like when this all happened though, did you guys like what kind of changes did you see like just in your job alone where to be more safe and things like that?
Yeah. So our boss, our station manager, he kind of debriefed us like a few times before it got real crazy here. Just saying like it's gonna happen. Like this is COVID-19. It's not huge here yet, but it will be. And when it does, we just need you guys to be ready. And so one of the things that we've started doing is because of the stay-at-home order, we have like a piece of paper that says this person's authorized by FedEx Express to travel to and from work and also to travel to delivery stops and make deliveries. So if it ever does get to that point where it is martial law here, and we have that, we're like, well, we're authorized. We're allowed to be out.
Right.
Because if it gets to that point where they have to enable, martial law, only people that are authorized are going to be able to be out. And so we have those already just as a precaution, which I hope that it doesn't get to that point here. I mean, people are stupid. I mean, they are. I mean, you go to the store and, like, because my wife fits the higher risk category because she has asthma. And so she doesn't go to the store ever, so she makes me go whenever we need something, which I'm happy to do it.
Right.
But I see people at the store. She sends me like, oh, we need water and we need diapers for the baby. Can you go pick up that stuff? I'm like, oh, yeah, absolutely. I go and I see people buying like sugary cereals and candy and snacks. I'm like, that's not essential. What are you doing?
I know.
The thing is, go to the store for the essentials like laundry soap, eggs, like things that you need to live and be healthy. And I see people in the store buying all this random crap. I'm like, you're the reason that it's not going away.
Yeah. Like my fiance works retail, and she's telling me consistently they have people just coming in buying things, because they're bored.
Yeah.
And so I guess right now a really heavy thing in retail is like people have to like tell them if you're not here for like a thing, they have to kick them out. So she's consistently having to be like, hey, you can't be here. Like, what are you looking for? Oh, I'm just looking. Well, you can't be looking. We're asking you to leave. Like, if you're not here specifically for an item before you walk through the door, you need to leave.
Well, and now a lot of stores are, like I know Winco and Costco both are they have someone standing by the front door with like a clicker or their phone keeping a tally because they say they're only allowing like 200 people in the store at a time. Mm-hmm. And so if they ever get to 200 next people, they have to say, well, you have to wait till someone leaves. Which I think is good. I mean, makes sense. There's no reason to have that many people in an area anyway.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people out there that aren't taking it seriously, and they need to start because look at the numbers from, I mean, we already have more cases in the United States than France ever had.
Yeah.
And they were one of the highest. And it's like, what are you guys doing? Come on.
Mm-hmm. I think because I agree. Like, people need to make it safer, but I think people being home cooped up, like, it drives a lot of people crazy. Like, I feel like I'm this mixture of an introvert and extrovert. I'm a huge introvert. I love video games, love being home. I feel safe at home, like, blah, blah, blah. Extrovert, I need people. I love talking to people, obviously. You know, the podcast helps a lot, but just mingling and talking and things. But, you know, I'm you know, like, at the same time, like, it's irritating because it's like, if this was in the 80s, okay, like, people should be, like, growing crazy. But, dude, we have video games, movies, TV shows, Monopoly game, like, any app you could, if you have a device, if you have a cell phone, there is literally millions of apps you can download to keep you busy or entertained. Yeah. You don't need to be going to the store because you're bored. Like, you know, it's kind of irritating.
That's kind of where I'm at. I mean, I like being at home. I like doing stuff at home. But every once in a while, I'm like, man, I can go hang out with my friends. I got nothing to do. And then, so it's been kind of hard for me because a lot of my friends have, like, reached out, like, hey, we should do something. I'm like, well, you know.
It's kind of a bad time.
I was like, I'm not that worried about the whole thing. Like, I don't feel like I'm in danger of getting it. But at the same time, if I do get it, my wife who has asthma and my grandma who's elderly are at my house every single day. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to give it to them. Exactly. And so that's one thing I'm really weary of is transmitting. I mean, like, I'm young enough that I feel like if I was to get it, I'd be fine. But my wife and my grandma might not be. And
that's exactly what they're saying is like, yeah, we'll be fine, but the people that are around us won't. Me and my fiance, my grandpa goes to Arizona every year, and we were supposed to go pick him up and bring him back here. But, you know, thinking about, we planned this trip forever, and we're going to spend like 5 days in Arizona, like go around, go to the lake, like all those things. So it's supposed to be a little bit of vacation, but also bring him back home. Mm-hmm. But the issue is we were talking, you know, me and her will be getting on a bus from here, Salt Lake City, get off, get all the things and people that not even touching, but the people are going to be around through an airport, landing in Las Vegas airport, then again another bus from there to where his city is, and it's like that's just way too many points of contact that it can be, and I don't want to give that to my grandpa, so it's like we cancel the whole trip, and he's just going to drive with some of his friends back home. But you know, just thinking about how easy it could be to give to somebody. I mean, and not even that, like. You know, my fiance works retail. I mean, she's essential. She has to work. If someone comes into work and gets close enough and somehow slips through a mask or whatever, and she gets it, brings it home to me, and then, you know, whatever, like, it can happen. Well, again, all the younger things are healthy, but it's just the older people that we can go around that can really be affected. Right. You know?
And a lot of times, because, I mean, I think they're saying the average time that you can have it without showing any symptoms is like 2 weeks. So I could have it right now, and I wouldn't know for 2 weeks. And in that 2 weeks, how many people have I talked to or been close enough to that they're going to get it?
See, that's
the scary part of it.
I think that's the scariest part about this whole thing is, like I said, you know, at the beginning of the podcast, is just how easy it is to get it and transfer it. It's just, and you won't even know, and how many people you'll be infected. So, like, steps I'm trying to do is, like, I'm trying to have all guests 3 to 4, like we said, I can linger in the air, it can be on things. Right. Try to sanitize. I try to do all my episodes 3 days apart, so at least anything could die. Yeah. Obviously, I won't know, you know, but until 2 weeks from now, I'm like, fuck. You know, so that's why I asked every guest, you know, if you want to wear a mask, we can wear a mask. If not, like, it kind of just like depends on how people are feeling, how, you know, what they're thinking. But it's a scary world. It's a dangerous time, you know.
And like I said, it's not going to get any better if people don't listen to what the health experts have said. Mm-hmm. I was reading an article a little while back, and I think it was written by the guy that kind of helped figure out how to get rid of Ebola.
Oh, really?
And he was talking about the only way that America, or any country in general, is going to get rid of this is if everyone goes on a strict 3 to 5 week lockdown. Yep. Where they stay home, they don't leave their house, and everyone has to do it. So it's basically like a country shutdown, which won't happen, which... If it gets to the point that that's the only solution, is our nation actually going to be like, yeah, we need to do that? Probably not. Yeah. Because everyone cares about making money. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, it's important to have money, but what's more important? wealth
people's
or
lives.
the well-being of millions of people.
Yeah. It's the aftermath, and then just, you know, yeah, there's just so much in the air. Like, I also think about depression, anxiety, suicide, things like that. Like, people being home cooped up.
Yeah.
I mean, I just thinking about it would drive me crazy.
Yeah.
You know, it's...
And so, yeah, as someone that has to be out and about, I mean, I don't really... I try to stay far enough away from people that I deliver to.
Mm.
Like most residential places now, we have permission from our corporate people to just drop and go. Like,
Oh, good.
put a package down on their step and leave. You don't even have to knock anymore.
Oh, good.
Which is awesome, but then there's certain ones that you still have to get a signature for, and they've changed the way we do
because
signatures.
they're buying like a $3,000
Right.
computer or something.
Or like medicine or firearms, stuff like
Oh,
that,
right.
or alcohol that needs an adult signature. They've changed the way we do it. They still don't want anyone else to touch our power pad, which is what we track everything on and do stuff with. So it's gotten to the point where if you have a package that requires a signature like that, you have to knock on the door
Right.
and say, hey, there's this package. I need an adult signature. I need to see your ID, make sure they're old enough, and then say, okay, well, can I write your name for you and say that you accept it? And they're like, yeah, that's fine.
Right.
And I mean, it's gotten to that point, which I'm glad, because, yeah, there's people out there that are filthy. They don't wash their hands. They don't care. They don't. I've delivered to some people that I'm like, oh, man, if I didn't have to be at your house, I wouldn't.
Yeah, right.
And so, I mean, there's a lot of different people out there that, A, you don't know if they have the disease.
Mm-hmm.
B, you don't know if you have the disease.
Yep.
And you don't want to pass it to anyone, especially people that you know and love, let alone someone you barely even know.
Yeah.
Or someone that you've seen once in your life.
Yeah. It's insane.
It's crazy. I mean, people need to take it seriously,
They
and
really do.
no one is. And that's the thing that scares me. I mean, yeah, I'd love to go out and do things with my friends and be out and about, but what's there to do right now? Everything's closed.
Yeah.
You can't go sit down at Denny's and have a meal because they're closed.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go hang out at the mall because they're closed.
That's
and
the
so
same
it's
thing.
like, what's the point?
Like my grandpa said the same thing, is like, we can get, like, let's get you down here and let's just say if you wore a hazmat suit, whatever, like, we got you down here. What the hell are we going to do for 5 days?
It has nothing to do. You see all these pictures on the internet going around of, like, you know, businesses and, like, big cities that are completely closed down.
Yeah.
Like, the Las Vegas Strip has never been this desolate.
Yeah.
And it's
And
because...
then you have the beaches packed.
Because
bro,
there's people that are taking it seriously, and then there's people that are just like, well, I'm not gonna get it.
Thousands. Like that, like there's, I mean, this whole thing could be debatable, going out for a walk, going to the store, whatever, but when you're around thousands of people on a beach, it takes one person.
One sneeze.
And then it's just...
everyone.
It's just... it's so irritating, man.
Yeah, I mean, social distancing, I mean, a lot of people interpret it a different way, but I think, like, yeah, if you're going to go on a walk and it's just you and your dog,
yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's definitely way more than 6 feet apart,
But
you know?
I see people, like, having picnics at the park. I'm like, well,
why?
You're defeating the whole purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it might be...
It's a hard time,
but it's
having
like... a picnic with people that you live with, but at the same time, if someone just walks by and sneezes and it goes downwind, guess what?
There you are.
What's the point?
Yeah. And that was like the original core argument was, you know, it's not that dangerous, it's 1%, blah, blah, blah. Like, that was the biggest, you know, 50-50 online. And I'm thinking, name one person in your family you want to die.
Yeah, exactly.
You have 100 family members, name one. And if you can name one, then great. Then
Yeah,
go ahead and
go
live
do all
your
you
life.
want.
But no, unless you're not some psychotic B word. Like, you know, you should be able to be like, you're right, I want every single one of my family members to be okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay home. I'm going to be home as much. Like, me and my fiance have been trying to avoid shopping in general. Like, we're doing, like I said, a lot of DoorDash Uber Eats, which, yeah, someone's coming to your door, but it keeps us from going out and interacting and doing
and a lot of
what the
those
hell we're
things,
doing.
like, even if you're doing DoorDash, you can just open the door and be like, hey, just set it down. I'll come get it.
Yep. Yeah, DoorDash has that option, right? And then you click it, drop it off at the front door, and they're gone,
exactly.
You know?
And man,
it is crazy.
People are going nuts, man.
It is. You
It's
see
crazy.
how people act. Like it is a scary time, and that's why there's so much. Again, it's not black and white, so there's a lot of like how people's minds are, and they're trying to not get depression. They're trying to go on a walk, but then they get yelled at, and there's so much going on. But it's like if we could all just somehow be home for 2 weeks, it could die.
Yeah.
Exponentially compared to like
because-
I'm just going one family pick. If you were home for a month, you're like, I've been home for 3.5 weeks. I'm gonna go out for one day. That one day could be the day you get the damn virus.
That's gonna be the day you transmit it or you get it from someone. I saw this.
Literally.
I saw this I guess it was a meme technically.
Heck yeah.
But it was talking about like, oh, well, the coronavirus only kills 3% of the people that get it. And that's not even a true statistic. That was just something that was made up at the time.
Right.
I think it was a number they were kind of gathering at the time, but they didn't have all the data they needed. And the guy was like, okay, so if I handed you 100 Skittles and told you 3 of them could kill you, would you still eat them?
Oh, that's
and
good.
Like, well, I guess not. Exactly.
You're like, it's the pink ones, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You don't know. I mean,
exactly.
The chances are you wouldn't get one that would kill you, but there's a slight chance that you would. Are you still going to take that chance?
You still have that one chance. And there's still like there's just so much in this that people understand. I mean, even if you get it, what if like the hospitals are filled up and then you can't get treatment?
Yeah.
A healthy person, we've already found out, can pass away under the right circumstances. You know, there's that 17-year-old in California that passed away because he was denied health insurance.
Yeah.
So on the way to try to go to another health carrier, passed away. Like, there's so many things. So it's just like, don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe I even had a couple of people tell me, they're like, I just want to get it and see what it's like. If all the hype is up and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what the fuck? You're like, you want to like, you know, it's like, oh, I've never seen like a terrorist event happen, but I want to be there and witness it just to know like it's actually not the government and a real person's killing people. It's like, what is wrong with you?
Well,
like, how do you have to witness this?
I heard a statistic, and I don't know if it's 100% correct, but it was a podcast that I was listening to about the coronavirus, and it said something like 80% of people that get it won't even realize it's what they have.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's true because 80% of cases, like I said, from the statistic that might not be completely accurate.
Right.
80% of the cases that people get are completely, like, really, really mild.
Correct.
And then there's, like, the 20% that are extremely bad. And
right.
So it's like, but still, are you willing to take that 20% chance? I mean, yeah, it's not a great number, but at the same time, still 20%.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, people in our age range, it's probably going to be that 80%. But how many people do you know that are in that 20% that could easily get a very serious case?
Exactly.
And that's what worries me.
And it's like, I mean, people don't even know their bodies. I mean, like, when was the last time? Like you think, like, last time you went to a doctor, how many, you know, things do you have? You don't know, like, oh, you don't know you're 100% healthy. There's probably some symptoms or some, I mean, there's thousands of things that you could just not be good at. Like, some people are just naturally not very good at fighting like a flu.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, they get a cold and then, man, it takes them 2 weeks when it takes me like 2 days of ibuprofen, I'm good to go.
Yeah.
You know, and like you just don't know.
It's a case-by-case basis type thing where certain people can overcome sickness better than others. Like, my wife has a super weak immune system. Like,
immune system, yeah.
She can be sick with a cold for 2 weeks, where I get a cold and it's gone within a few days. It just kind of depends.
Exactly. So why even risk it? For yourself, for your family, for your friends.
Yeah.
I'm reading an article today. It's like, your cats can get corona. I'm like, oh, shit.
Great.
Like, I have
them
3 of
too.
them. You know? Like, it's tough, man. It's absolutely tough.
And, I mean, it's crazy to me to think that, I don't even know, like, maybe 2 weeks ago, Idaho had, like, 2 cases.
Yep.
In all of Idaho.
Yep.
And now we're up over 500.
Yep. And a couple, like, over a dozen deaths or something like that.
Yeah.
It's
like
terrible.
17, I think was the last number I heard, was 17 deaths.
17.
I saw this chart that a health expert posted about, it was a GPS tracking on people's phones.
Oh.
And it was a chart showing each state, and it said, this color means that most people are staying home and their GPS tracking is staying within a certain radius of their homes. And it said, from this color to this color meaning these people aren't moving, like, these people are moving way too much, and they're going way too far from their houses. Idaho was, like, on the high end.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
You think just because you're in this mountain air that you're not going to get anything?
Yep.
You're going to be the reason that Yellowstone explodes.
Yeah.
It's going to be your fault. And honestly, it might come to that, and that might be what gets rid of coronavirus.
There you go.
That Yellowstone's just going to explode, and all of Idaho
wipe
will
out
go
90%.
away.
Yeah, like, for real. It's insane, man. Like, that's absolutely insane. I saw the same thing on a Business Insider did a thing on Florida they took all the devices that were uniquely there on the beaches, and in the month of March tracked them to where they went back home.
Yeah.
And it just showed, just one beach in Fort Lauderdale, and how it spread across the country was insane. Like, it really covered up the right side of the United States, all the way dipping all over, though. And it's just like, again, if it was 1, 10, 20, 30... And, of course, odds are it's not just one people. There's probably a couple dozen people that have coronavirus that are going back home, spreading it, and it's just... That's what I was telling my grandpa. I was like, March was just going to be rough because it's spring break. How many people are going to go on their spring breaks? Yeah. And then people are getting interviewed. They're like, it's so dumb. There's nothing to do here. Bitch, what do you think? There's nothing to do there.
That's the point. Stay home. For real. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, it's like I spent months saving up. It's like, honey, you're not the only one sacrificing. Yeah. Okay, what about people that can't feed their children? Like, everybody's taking a sacrifice here. Like,
well, I know here school's closed, and they said, oh, we're going to close till April 6th. Well, then it got worse, and like, okay, well, we're going to close till, I don't know what April
it is now. 30th or something.
But I'm pretty sure they're not going to even go back to school this year because I don't know if
that's what I'm talking about.
I don't know if you've driven by Pokey, but they have fences up. They're rebuilding part of the school. It's like they wouldn't be doing that if they were going to be coming back to school.
Exactly. Like my brother's about to graduate high school, and I'm like, you lucked out. You don't even have to finish your high school. You don't have to
do anything now.
You know. Meanwhile, going to college online, everyone's like, so your workload has doubled because we can't.
We
teach
know
you.
you're
You have
home
to read
doing
this book.
nothing.
Yeah. So it's like.
So here's all this extra work.
Yeah, it's tough, man. But it's just like you said, it's going to be a case by case just to kind of see how it all plays out.
Yeah, I was talking with one of my coworkers today, talking about how I've delivered to some places that they're open. And I'm like, why are you guys open? You shouldn't be open. Why are you here? And I was just saying, like, if I could stay home, I would. Yeah. Because I have plenty of people in my life that are at risk.
Yeah.
And I'm out here every single day working, going around people that are stupid enough to not be staying home when they should be.
Yeah.
And doesn't mean they have it, but at the same time, it doesn't mean they don't.
Exactly.
And so I don't want to be around those people, but I have to because I'm working and that's my job. And I'm glad I have a job, and I'm glad that I'm able to work. But at the same time, if I had the choice of working every day through this pandemic or being at home, knowing that I'm safe and away from everything, 100% I'd be at home.
Yep.
But that's just not the world we live in nowadays.
Exactly, and it has a lot to do with this economic status, man. Like I appreciate the government trying to give back some money and trying to give everybody money, but at the same time, like $1,200 is just not enough for a lot of these people.
No.
And it's like, even though these people that don't have essential jobs, they're fighting to try to have income.
Well, and think about where that $1,200 is going to go.
Yeah.
The government's purpose is to put it back into the economy. Do you think they're actually going to do that? Probably not. They're probably going to use it to pay their rent.
Yeah.
They're probably going to use it to buy groceries, which that kind of does go back in the economy. But they're not going to invest it in stocks.
Yeah, they're not going to be buying.
They're not going to be buying
all fun things.
They're not going to be buying like government bonds. They're going to be like, oh, my rent is overdue. I better pay that.
See, that's the other thing too. You're going to have a lot of people getting these $1,200 checks that don't need it.
No, yeah.
But they're going to go out and probably buy whatever the hell they want to buy. But like you said, a lot of it's going to go to rent, food.
I know.
Just to live.
I know for my wife and I. My wife, like I said, she works for our credit union, so she's pretty good with money, and so.
Good.
She does all of our budgeting, and so I asked her, I was like, so what are we going to do with our check? Because we both will get $1,200 because we're adults, and then we get the extra, $500 for a kid?
Right.
So we're getting close to $3,000, which, I mean, yeah, it's awesome. It's going to be great. It'll be helpful. And I talked to her. I was like, so what are we going to do with this? She's like, nothing. What do you mean? And I was like, well, we're getting $3,000 almost from the government. What should we do with it? She's like, we're going to put it in savings for if something like this happens again and one of us loses our job.
That's a really good point. This could be a really good mark for people that actually have some savings.
Yeah, I
mean, people just don't have savings anymore.
And I mean, my wife and I, we live within our means. I mean, we don't splurge often, and when we do, it's like rarely. And so, like I said, she does our budgeting. So she tells me each week, okay, this is what we have for spending this week. This is what we have for groceries. This is what we have for gas in our cars. This is what we have for bills. And so with that, I'm like, okay, well, we can live with this. This will work. And then... So when I was like, oh, we're getting like $3,000 from the government almost for this stimulus, what should we buy? And she was like, we're not going to buy anything. We're going to put it away. What are you talking about? Right. And I was like, well, there's some things we need. Like our baby's grown out of his car seat, so we're going to have to buy a car seat for him, which can run a good amount of money. And so, I mean, there's certain things that we're like, yeah, we need to buy this with that. And so, I mean, it's great that it's coming right now because there's things we need right now. And so it'll be helpful.
Yep. Yeah, things like that I totally agree with. Like things that are just gonna help you out in the long run. Like things that like my car's been making a funny noise for years now. Like now it's a good time to get that. Oh, there's like this water leaking in your basement. Like there's a lot of things that it could help someone's individual lives like a great deal. I just hope that people that absolutely do not need it, especially someone that's actually like they said like I think up to like 75,000 or something. I'm like if you're making 74,000.
Chances are you don't need it.
Yeah, exactly. So if you can give a little bit back, donate to somebody, do something, please God, do it. Just like give back in any way you can. But at the same time, like people like There's other people that like work their entire lives, and this can like maybe give them like that 5-day vacation the last 10 years they haven't ever had.
Yeah.
So it's like whatever your economic status is, just like think about it, you know.
And I just think it's kind of foolish for the government to be like, oh, we're going to give everyone the stimulus and they're going to put it right back into the economy.
Yeah.
What's the point of sending it out? Why don't you just put the money into the economy?
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm grateful for it. I'm glad that it's coming.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, I think a lot of it's more of like a political move, just to, the election's coming up, and
everybody needs cash.
I think I think it has a lot to do with that as well, because I mean, the Democrats didn't want it to happen at first, but then they're like, you know what, maybe it is a good thing. So we'll see. I mean,
see how it goes.
I'm grateful for it because it'll be a blessing for my family at least. So
good. Let's hope it blesses a lot of people.
I know there's people that need it.
Yeah, for real, man. For real. So, Cameron, thank you so much for stopping by, coming on our show.
Thanks for having me.
Talking, mingling, theater, show, dad life, coronavirus.
It's been fun.
It's awesome, man. Well, thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.